Well, interestingly enough, I totally left off that Avowed is around the corner. And I mean,
Yes.
look, I'm going to be honest with you. It's an Obsidian joint. How could you not get excited about Avowed? It looks amazing. It was delayed. They took a bunch of extra time with it. The game looks ready to go. And I mean, look, my God, I'm stuttering with excitement, Mav, because again, January last year was super slow. Obviously, there was a lot of discontent within the Xbox community because of games going to PlayStation. We did see a lot of like really big, prominent Xbox players leave the brand, like completely get up and walk away, move over to PlayStation. And listen, I mean, I'm not going to fight with anybody that decides that they felt like slighted. Listen, I get it. I mean, I'm the oldest guy probably in this chat. I'm the oldest guy on the panel for sure. I have an ideology that goes way back. Well, to the way games used to make. You buy a console, you bought a bunch of games for that console. When that console generation was over, you took that console and your games, you put it in your closet with your toys, and then you just moved on to the next one. That's how it used to be. It's not like that anymore. That goes the same thing with exclusives. Like some of the games that we're going to see will eventually make it over to PlayStation. Do I like it? Not really, to be honest with you. But again, like I've said countless times, it's just the way the industry is changing. And we have to understand it. We have to accept it. And as long as games, services, DLC, map packs or whatever else you want to add are not taken away from me as a consumer, I don't have a problem with it anymore. It's just business at the end of the day. But folks, we got the release date. We got the 4 games being shown, one of which is a mystery. Mav and I are going to break that down. We're going to throw some stabs or some darts at a board. Maybe we can guess what it is. I saw Crispy Bomb put something in there. He mentioned the Phoenix collection. Oh my God, if that's what it is. But also for Pong Soul, my brother from another who's listening right now, Oblivion. Oh my, could it be the Unreal Engine remake of Oblivion? I'm getting goosebumps like a big old nerd, and I cannot wait to get into it. But before we do, I want to welcome in nearly 300 people already here. We're only 5 minutes into the show. I remember that we took years just to get 100 people here. So Mrs. Boom and I want to say a monster thank you. We do have a pretty big announcement, I should say, happening by the end of the week regarding the channel. It's something that we've worked super hard on. And wait a second, I said hard on. Pause. Hold on for a second there. Pause. My God. Yeah, we've been working hard with the channel. And when we're able to announce what we're about to announce, it's going to be 7+ years of hard work paying off in a big, big way. So again, that's thanks to you folks. You guys and gals watch the show. You share it on social media. And Mrs. Boomer and I are incredibly grateful for that. But I'm at Xbox Wire, and I just want to read the actual presser that was released earlier this morning regarding the event happening. And it goes on to say this, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get a look at what's next. Developer Direct is back on Thursday, January 23rd at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK time. Fans will get an inside look on a selection of highly anticipated games coming to Xbox Series XS, PC, and Game Pass players this year. It goes on to say, Mav, presented by the game creators themselves. Developer Direct offers an in-depth look at upcoming titles, how they're being created, who's creating them. We'll visit Compulsion Games in Montreal, Canada, to learn more about South of Midnight. And I would imagine we're going to get a release date at this event. Then they're going to head over to France to see Sandfall Interactive and to look at Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Stop by the legendary ID Studios in Richardson, Texas, your neck of the woods, to check in on Doom: The Dark Ages and visit a surprise location to see another studio brand new game. First of all, this is a really, really big deal. Like I said, folks, We don't have to talk about Nintendo. They have a console coming out. We don't have to talk about PlayStation because we already know what's coming out for them. We're here to talk about Xbox, and my God, Mav, they have been really putting it down. December had a bunch of really good releases in Xbox Game Pass. Indiana Jones is what we thought it was. It is a stellar game. Again, we had Jason Ronald show up to CES. The information that he proposed regarding making your ROG Ally and your handheld of whatever flavor you own look and run like an Xbox, merging Xbox with Windows, but kind of putting Windows into a corner where it belongs, giving you the console-like experience on your current handheld while we wait to what you opened up with. And that is the rumor that 2 consoles are happening in 2026. You have the handheld, which is going to be the official Xbox handheld, and you also have the rumored, merging of the worlds, regarding PC and console being this under the TV box that we all want, but giving you the ability to play games from your Steam library, from your Xbox, library, as well as the Epic Game Store. If that does come into fruition, they're going to once again change the industry. And now here we are. Avowed is a couple of weeks away. We have the confirmation of the Direct. Let's get your thought on I want to say 4 games. 4 games are listed. One's a mystery. Let's start, Mav, with the 3 games that we know confirmed to be there. What are your excitement levels for Doom: The Dark Ages? What's your excitement level for Compulsion Games, South of Midnight, and of course, Sandfall Interactive? Listen, Expedition 33 looks like it's going to be a banger, brother. Let me get your hot take.
Yeah, man. When we were trying to predict what kind of games could be at this Dev Direct, something that kept coming back up for me was Clair Obscur 33 because of the amount of hype that it got when it was shown off. I knew it'd be like they're gonna want to ride with that. You know what I mean? And that game's also slated for spring of this year. So it adds up to a Dev Direct where we're focusing, I think, on games that are releasing at least like in summer or before, right? For this year, right? So we got South of Midnight, which we believe is coming soon. We got Doom: The Dark Ages, which I don't think that's a holiday game. I think at latest it's a summer game, right?
Yeah.
And then we got Clair Obscur 33, which is set for spring. And then what do we know? We don't know about the 4th game. We don't know what it is yet, right? Except they say brand new game. So we can read into that, but yeah, I'm excited, man. These Dev Directs are usually awesome. I was a little surprised that we're seeing South of Midnight after we got the long documentary that they had just released that was like very Dev Direct style, right? So I think they're wanting to maybe put more focus on that studio, knowing that people are going to be tuning into the Dev Direct to get more hype and excitement around South of Midnight. We're going to see, my number 1 game out of this is Expedition 33 for sure.
Yeah.
Like you talk about it's a JRPG, but it's like actually not. It's actually made by a French team, right? So you're taking this genre that has made somewhat of a comeback, but everything I've seen from that game, it looks like what I imagined JRPGs would turn into in the future.
Yep.
Not Final Fantasy 16. I didn't imagine they would turn into Final Fantasy 16. I imagined they would turn into something like Clair Obscur Expedition 33, right? So I'm super excited to see that game made by a French team that's former Ubisoft developers. This is their first big game, but I think it's a lot of talent there. So, and then Doom just looks freaking awesome, But I think that out of all the games that was a slam dunk to be at this Dev Direct, Doom was the one that was the most easy to predict because we've only seen it once, right? We saw it at the showcase last year, right? And then I think they had a little bit at CES, just a little snippet.
They had a small, I think it was like 35 seconds. It was it wasn't gameplay, but it was just showing like some of the lighting and the rain.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna get the biggest look at that at the Dev Direct. And then they're gonna probably hopefully give us a release window for summer or an announcement on that. Doom, I'm super excited about. I think that the past couple Dooms, I really like the games, but they were more so like I didn't get with the kind of rhythm based feel of having to get the ammo constantly, all that stuff. Make sure you take out the enemy this way and rush and get the. So I wasn't necessarily driving with that. I think that this is going to be somewhat of the same, but you add in medieval fantasy with dragons and mechs and all these other kind of crazy stuff, and just the setting alone sells it for me 100%. So Doom: The Dark Ages, I'm actually more excited about than I've been for a Doom game since the originals, right? So I'm super pumped about that one. And yeah, what is the other game? Like, what is the
That's
other
the
game?
question that we're going to be pondering
Yeah,
in a hot second, because let me just read verbatim.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
you bring up a great point. This is exactly what the presser says. So, what this ultimately does is either trick us into believing that it's not a remake, or there is not going to be a remake, or there's going to be a one more thing. And the reason why I say
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that is because normally there are 5 games shown, not 4. If you go back to last year's, and I believe the year before, there were 5 games. Now, there's usually 4 first party and a partnered game, right? That's how it usually goes. Well, there are 2 first party games and a partnered game, leaving room for, well, the fourth one being a mystery. And this is what it says verbatim, folks. And a visit a surprise location to see another studio's brand new game. That's incredibly vague. And I mean,
Oh yeah, it could be
that
anything.
that is just like a giant whiteboard in front of you, and you're like, what am I supposed to do with this? So we're gonna have some fun. What could it be? Because I saw someone mentioned one of my all-time favorite fighting games, and let me go back to the chat real quick and take a look of who actually said it. Oh, it's for anonymous atheist, I believe that's how it's pronounced. He says if they drop Killer Instinct trailer, the internet will explode. Brother, let me tell you something. I will explode live on camera because we're going to be covering it. This is going to be a coming out party. I mean, go back to 2013. I was still working on as a police officer for the NYPD, and I took my meal, as you know we're allowed to do, and I went downstairs to watch the showcase. And I remember hearing the freaking music, and in uniform, I jumped up and yelled. Everyone thought I was a lunatic. They had no idea what was going on because, again, that's like nerdy stuff. Nowadays, it's cool if you're a police officer and you play games. Back in the days, it wasn't like that. You were looked upon as a little weird, and that's fine because I'm weird anyway. But I remember jumping out of the chair, nearly hitting the fluorescent bulbs that were above us. So excited because, I mean, come on, it's freaking Killer Instinct. So could it be that? I don't know. I mean, look, I don't. I have no idea what it's going to be. Is it a first party studio that they're going to? Is it partnered? I don't think it's partnered because they're already showing off one with Expedition 33 map. I
Yeah.
think that this is a first party. Now, someone actually had made mention about oh my god, Double Fine. Now, Double Fine has been working on, I think, a couple of games. Their first party, we haven't heard from them in a hot minute, right? So they could be one of the studios. Mav, I don't even know where to go with this. Like, who do you think it's possible? If we
Oh
just
man.
keep it to first party studios, and they have a lot of them, right? They have over 30 of them. Who is your automatic go to? What could be this magical mystery tour we're going to be taking on for the 23rd?
I mean, this is speculation town all the way, right?
Yeah,
Like,
man. And we're
um,
co-mayors, by the way.
so I mean, I think the easiest thing to do is like hyper focus on the words that they use to try and
Okay.
decipher what they could mean, because they're usually really careful with how they say things, right? So they take us to Canada, to France, and to Texas, right? They make sure to pinpoint the locations of the studios that they're visiting. And then they're visiting a surprise location, okay, to see another studios. They don't say one of our studios, they say another studios brand new game. So for me, I'm going to read into this that this could be a game in the East somewhere. Maybe it's a brand new Square announcement. They did that last year with Visions of Mana. It was a complete surprise, right? It could be something from Atlas. It could be something from any studio that would be, I think, something that they don't want to like give away right now, right? Because I have a feeling if it was like something that was not so exciting, they would go ahead and try and hype it up a little bit,
Okay.
right? And then save another thing for like the exciting announcement. I think whatever this is going to be, because they're leading with 4 announcements right now. So I think you give us the 3, and I think whatever this other one is going to be like, oh my god, what's happening right now? Like, and then we find out it's also this year, right? Whatever it is, just like last year with Visions of Mana. But I think this will be even bigger. I I I want to like guess, but it's extremely hard because I think I can cancel off like games like Contraband, Everwild, Gears Collection, Oblivion Remake, even because of the words that they use. Brand new game,
Brand new game. Yeah, that kind of cuts out
and
the Marcus Phoenix collection, Oblivion, Killer Instinct, because those games they exist, and when they do release, they're going to be new games, but they're not quote unquote a new game.
right. So, and is that like a sequel in a storied franchise? It could be like I don't know, man. Like, what if this is like, hey, surprise, we're back here with Mistwalker, and we're going to announce Lost
Oh
Odyssey 2,
my
right?
goodness!
Or like it's something crazy that would just send like the internet aflame. I there's a million possibilities. But when they say brand new game, that's the problem. Is it's unlimited possibilities, right? There's like so many studios out there. It is strange that they would have 2 third-party studios at the Dev Direct,
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
as opposed to focusing more so on the first party. So it could be first party, and I'm reading too much into the way that they're phrasing things. And if it's another first party studio, then I like your prediction for Double Fine, because they're very probably ready to announce something that could be coming sooner, right? Um, well, I would have went with Rare and Everwild, but they say brand new game. We already know about that one,
Yep.
So you look at studios that could have something that's unannounced. Then you start maybe looking at ABK. There's really nothing from ABK here, and if we think about ABK, okay, well, there was rumors that Tony Hawk was going to be having a new game. Tony Hawk actually commented on that a year ago or so, that they were working on something. So could be a new Tony Hawk. It could be whatever Elsewhere Entertainment's making, and it could be the introduction to that studio.
Yep.
That would be something that's very interesting. It could be Infinity Ward's second studio, and I think it's in Poland, which would also be, hey, we're in Poland at Infinity Ward. What? Hell, this is interesting. We're in Poland and Infinity Ward,
You
and what are they
know,
making? Like,
they were rumored a couple. I don't want to say it was last year. I'm pretty sure it was the year before, but they were rumored to be working on and again, this is a rumor, folks, so
yeah,
please don't run with it. A Mass Effect level first person space shooter. So, I mean, we don't,
yeah,
it's never been debunked. So maybe that's what it is.
could be. It could be. Like I said, it could be a million different things right now, and I mean, a million exciting things. I saw somebody say IO Interactive's game,
Oh,
like
yeah. Well, they're
yeah,
working on a couple of things, Project Dragon and the 007 game.
yep. Could be a certain affinity. Uh,
What about People
there,
Can Fly? They've been remember they were
yeah,
tasked to work on a new IP that was an exclusive for Xbox. I know they had some layoffs. I and that sucks for sure. But we haven't heard from them in a minute.
it's true. Um, man, I just had one in my mind, but I
Uh-oh.
lost it.
Sorry, I
No,
ruined you.
no, no, you're good. I'm just trying to remember what I had in my mind. There's like, how many first party studios do we not know what they're making right now? I mean, in
Well, I
Exile has
mean,
a
again,
second
it's
team,
it's
right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there's a few, but interestingly enough, you got to remember there are other outside studios that are working with Xbox on a specific new exclusive that are not
hmm,
owned, right? Like,
here's where I was
IO
going.
Interactive is a perfect example of that.
Okay, what about the new Transformers game, right?
Dude, they just canceled
Yeah,
the
yeah, the one
it's
for that Transformers Reactivated, right? Yeah,
reactivated.
they just
Yeah,
canceled that, right? So like, what if they're talking about licensing? They get the license back for the old Transformers games. They show it back up in the storefront, all these other kind of things, right? What if they go to like High Moon Studios and say, "Oh, we're bringing back this franchise. We're gonna do a new iteration in the Cybertron series of Transformers games,"
dude.
right?
The excitement levels, folks, are through the freaking roof, man. Oh my god, it's so exciting.
Yeah, like I'm saying, you could like make up a million things that, hey, it could be possible, but who really knows? I think the easiest thing to guess is like, is it first party or third party, right? And I wanted to say third party, boom, but I'm starting to switch back to first party now,
Yeah.
just because they have so many things to announce. They have so many things to announce. What if they would go to Playground and announce the next Forza Horizon?
I mean, look, let's see, who was it over here?
But they go to
Psychonauts.
Japan because it's gonna be in Japan. So surprise
Yes.
location. Hey, we're in Japan with Playground
Boom.
Games. What does this make sense? Oh, it's because this is where the game's gonna be, and it's coming this year. That would be
Look,
crazy.
getting back to this, it's pretty crazy where we are as Xbox fans, right, ladies and gentlemen? Like, if you go back post 2018 with the announcement of the new studios, if you just go back 6 hours before that show, Xbox had 5 studios. They had 5 studios struggling to make games. That's why they were working with everybody they could just to get games out on the Xbox One. They had 5 studios, ladies and gentlemen, and look how far they have come since then. They have over 30 studios and they own freaking Call of Duty. Like, look, I'm going to say this. I don't know if there's going to be and I want to speculate on that because that's what we do here. Obviously, we're the co-mayors of Speculation Town. So we're going to get into exactly what Psychonauts literally just said. And that's it. That's if there's going to be a 5th game. Because again, traditionally,
Mhm.
there are 4 first-party games and there are 1 partnered game. Well, right now it's 3 games and a mystery 4th, 2 of which are first party, 1's partnered, and what's the mystery? I'm agreeing 1,000% with you. I don't think it's partnered. I don't think it's a Square Enix game. I literally think that it's a first party game. From who? From where? There's a lot of choices, but I also believe because just based on tradition, just based on we've the last couple of directs, there's always been 5 games.
Yeah.
Is there the famous or infamous, if you will, one more thing? And that one more thing is something like, oh, I don't know, Clockwork Revolution, which I
Mhm.
think could be there as that mystery game. Any additional thoughts for that, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, Clockwork Revolution would be amazing. I mean, Pong Soul's been riding the train that game has a chance to be released this year. He's been on that for a while. I mean, it would be amazing. I mean, they're so loaded this year, right?
Oh man, it's
They are
crazy.
so loaded this year. I think whatever we see is something that we probably would have a chance at seeing this year. Maybe they wouldn't be ready to have a release date. But the surprise 5th game for me would be something. It's like, hey, this is here, and you're getting it soon. That'd be really cool. And I think the Oblivion remake would be an awesome thing to have as like a one
Yeah.
more thing,
Oh my god, that'd be so
because
cool.
the rumors on that are just awesome. Like that it's not just a remaster, it's like a full on kind of remake, right? And if you got, hey, you already saw Clear Obscure 33, you already saw South of Midnight, you've seen Doom the Dark Ages, and holy crap, did we blow your mind with this other surprise game that we already announced? But we're not done yet. You
Yep.
remember one of your favorite games of all time, Oblivion? Where we're not just remastering that crap like PlayStation does. We're not just going to charge you $10 extra for a little bit of resolution. We're remaking this baby from the ground up. Yeah, it's almost 20 years old at this point. Who cares? We're going to make it brand new and send you back to Oblivion. And that would be insane. My mind would explode, and they'd say, play it this year on top of all these other RPGs we're
It's
cramming down your
incredible.
throat this year. You can't handle it all. Oh, and by the way, speaking of that, tune in at the June showcase, because guess what? We're gonna have an extended direct to show Fable, which is, I
Oh.
think, is like after this announcement is pretty much a guarantee at this.
But as an Xbox fan, you got to admit that they are leading the charge. Maybe they're not in first place, Mav. Maybe they never will be in first place. But I got to tell you, the kind of games, the amount of games, the studios, they're still hunting for other acquisitions that may not be announced this year, but you just never know when you get you wake up on a Tuesday morning and the internet is literally broken. Like, why isn't the internet working? And it's because they just announced that they're buying Take-Two. Yeah, I mean, that could very well happen, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm just saying that they new government is coming in where acquiring things is going to be less stressful. Now, granted, they still have to get approvals from across the world, but the way that they've handled Activision, especially when you look at Call of Duty, it's good. There's not going to be an issue of, oh, they're gonna take something like GTA off the board and lock that behind Xbox. That's not going to happen, and it's proven that they wouldn't happen. But I mean, that kind of announcement is around the corner, at least I believe. But look, the direct is locked and loaded. It's happening third weekend. I had broke that story a couple of weeks ago. My connection was correct, and here we are. Third weekend, boom, there's a direct. 3 games are listed. 1 game's a magical mystery tour. And I do kind of really believe what Psychonauts was saying regarding there being a potential 5th game. And I think you're onto something, Mav. Look, Oblivion, when I understand that it's a multi-plat, and if it is announced and when it's released, it is going to go everywhere. It's going to release probably on the Switch too. It's going to definitely go to PlayStation. It's going to go to PC, and of course, it's going to be in Xbox and on Xbox Game Pass. That's a given, because that game was available everywhere. And who cares? You're getting it into your service. But I think you're onto something. I think that, you have these 3 monster-sized games. You get a 4th game from a first-party studio, and then you round out with the, hey, we got one more for you. Could you imagine that? Just think about this for a second, folks. At the end, South of Midnight's a banger. I don't listen. If you are in with the whole DEI stuff, I'm not going to fight you on it. I will disagree 1,000%. That game is going to rock when it releases. Okay? We're going to get a release date. That's big. Doom, multiplat. Who gives a care? It's going to be in Game Pass, and that is going to be a monster-sized game. And of course, yes, Expedition 33. It is going to be a multiplat, but that's in Game Pass. That game is in Game Pass day and date. That is massive. If they give us a 4th studio that Xbox owns, there's another first-party game in there, and they turn around, we got one more thing for you, don't go anywhere, and they just show a trailer. Now, I think it should be done side by side. You should show the opening of what it used to look like on the 360 and then show the Unreal Engine, and then that's how you end it. You black screen it then. I think that you literally stop the internet in its tracks, because that is now added to already what is going to be one of the biggest first party release years in Xbox history, dude.
I
mean,
got one more for you, Boom.
oh, let's go. Let's
One
go.
more that I think is actually plausible. Okay, ZeniMax Online.
Oh my god. Here we go.
Yeah, it's ZeniMax Online because
Here
we
we go.
remember this time when they announced the acquisition of ZeniMax and Bethesda, and they had the hey, here's all their studios and here's what they're working on, and they said at the time ZeniMax Online is working on a new game that's the biggest thing that they've ever done, and we're crazy excited about it. Fast forward, what, 4 years now?
Yep.
Not a peep. But there was rumblings that this game was going to potentially be announced last year, and that it may have not been at the showcase because of time constraints, right? We didn't see it at the Game Awards. What if now this game is potentially ready for later this year? It is going to be like an MMO, right? It's ZeniMax Online, so it's going to be like an MMO, massive multiplayer, multi-platform thing. But you announce it here to start building the hype for a potential release later this year or potentially even next year.
Dude.
But remember, like, it was supposed to be a brand new thing, right? So they said new IP at the time.
They did.
But that was when Starfield had just been announced. So like some people are speculating it actually could be like a Starfield MMO. Some people are thinking it could be another licensed game because at the time,
is it the rumored Mandalorian game?
That would be insane to me. There's rumors that it could be a licensed game because supposedly, I remember before Blade was announced, I think it was Scalzi who said that there was another licensed game at Bethesda at the time, or there was rumors of. Okay, and this was we got Blade announcement. We also had gotten obviously Indiana Jones, so we know. But around the time that ZeniMax Bethesda was acquired, or slightly before, they were doing deals with Disney, right? And they still have a good relationship with Disney, as the new rumors of more Indiana Jones is going to be coming as well. So, what would have stopped them when they did a deal for Indiana Jones and they did a deal for Blade to not do a deal for Star Wars with what makes sense to be one of the best MMO developers out there, who's created a very successful MMO that's lasted for years, in Elder Scrolls Online. So could that be a thing? Could it actually be Star Wars? I don't know, but you can make a case for it. Besides that, it could be anything, man.
Whatever it is, this is exactly why Xbox, at least to me, is running the gambit when it comes to 2025. We know a bunch of stuff that is coming out. We know a ton of rumors that have now become facts. We know rumors that lead into 2026. I don't personally know or understand how you, as a gamer, not an Xbox gamer, not a PlayStation gamer, and not a Nintendo gamer, just as a gamer, how could you not be excited for Xbox? And more importantly, I'll take it a step further, Matt. I don't understand from a sensibility when it comes to finance how you are not subscribed to Xbox Game Pass. Like it does not make any logical fiscal sense that you would not subscribe to this when everything that they're going to be showing is going to be in Game Pass, including 33 Expedition 33, which I think is a monster size game to be in Game Pass. Any thoughts to what Epic Treasure is saying?
I mean, like, if it's something Roundhouse Studios, it'd be very interesting, because that's the other one that I was really curious what they were working on. But to my discussion about ZeniMax Online, like, I think it, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody in the chat, but when the Arcane Austin and Tango Gameworks thing, when they were announced as closing, even though I know Tango Gameworks ended up living on.
Right.
Part of that was also the closure of Alpha Dog,
Yeah.
and then
Yep.
Roundhouse was like transitioned or something somewhere else within that umbrella.
Yep.
I can't remember for sure. And maybe it was, and I think it may have been ZeniMax Online. So I don't know what that means, like, because they were being used. Yes, they were supposedly had been working on a new game at the time, but then they were said to have kind of transitioned to support studio and then moved under ZeniMax Online, which is working on the game that I was potentially talking about, which is a new, supposedly a new IP also. So I don't know, man. Like it's really interesting to think about what it means. Okay, is it mean they formed a second team within ZeniMax Online, right? As if they're being put under them? I don't really know how it all works, and I don't ever think we got really great clarification on any of that because they could still be existing as their own entity under there as well. So, um, I think it's very possible. I mean, it's fun to look at pictures and like trying to decipher things and like, oh, this could mean this, you know.
Yeah,
So,
again, that's the fun of it. Well, first of all, we're in speculation town. Shout out
100%.
to Tim Brewster. He says this regarding exactly what you were talking about, Mav. When they shut down Arcane Austin and Tango, they said that Roundhouse Studios would be still be a part of ZeniMax. So they're still around. They are
Okay.
working on something. The question is what they're working on. Now, I know Traybone08, shout out to you, brother. Thanks so much for being here. He doesn't think it's going to be a big game, and I don't think it has to be. It just might be something that we don't know is happening. It could
Oh,
be a
wait, yeah.
smaller game for sure.
We got a lot of big games already.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're loaded to the gills this year in big games. I mean, Doom and Fable and Outer Worlds 2, which I thought Outer Worlds 2 would be at this Dev Direct.
Yeah, me
So,
too. Yeah.
like, we've already seen plenty of Avowed, so it makes sense for Avowed not to be there. But they just announced Outer Worlds 2, so I assumed, hey, this would be a great place to show Outer Worlds 2, being that it's coming this later this year. So for me, they got to have more opportunities to show Outer Worlds 2 this year as well, because I don't think they're just going to rely on the summer showcase to show Outer Worlds 2 again. So that means we're probably getting a couple more showings and maybe an extra Dev Direct this year. I mean, they got enough games to actually have another Dev Direct even before the summer showcase if they wanted
They
to.
absolutely